Godzilla, Save the Earth. Actually, on second thought, don't bother. This planet's a lost cause. Go save some other planet or something. I don't know. Okay. Fine, whatever. Anyways, Godzilla, Save the Earth, released in 2004 for PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox, developed by Pipeworks Software and published by Atari of all people. I wonder if this is going to be on Atari. Actually, you know what? I don't care. I really don't. A sequel to Destroy All Monsters Melee, a game released on Xbox and GameCube and made to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the King of the Monsters. As I'm recording this, we're about 3 years away from the Big 7-0 for Big G. Yep. Anyway, Godzilla Save the Earth is a game where you take a big monster kaiju thing and you fight other big monster kaiju things while wreaking havoc in whatever nameless city is stuck hosting this big old monster brawl, and that's it. Nothing else needs to be said. Oh, you want more? How about monster brawls with up to 4 monsters? How about a big old boxing ring? A roster of 18 whole monsters? A bunch of cities to tear apart? Assuming you could tell them apart first. There's also an unlockable gallery featuring some artwork and even some sample imagery from Final Wars, the newest and finalist Godzilla movie at the time. Isn't that cute? Godzilla Save the Earth has multiple modes of play. The action mode, which is your main story / arcade / campaign / whatever mode, where you pick a monster, you fight other monsters in a series of 12 rounds, along with some bonus games tossed in for good measure. Beating action mode with a high score enables you to unlock and purchase additional monsters and stuff, which encourages frequent replays. Or you could just load up the secret cheat gimmick, input the secret cheat code that unlocks everything, and now the fun begins. Versus is a straight up one-on-one battle. Survival mode is the usual beat as many monsters as you can go. Melee is the straight up to 4 monsters brawl, and from there you have different varieties, free-for-all, team modes, which is a thing, and a couple of modes focusing on straight up demolition of your surrounding terrain. There's also the challenge mode, which are little mini games that you play to add some variety if you want it. You unlock additional mini games by playing them in the action mode, and that's something you could do. Now, in terms of the action, Save the Earth is fairly simplistic. You punch, you kick, you hit hard, you grapple, you throw buildings, you shoot stuff, and you occasionally pick up power-ups that will help out, whether it be providing a health boost, calling other monsters to help you out, or even enable a temporary rage mode that will boost your attack power considerably, all in an effort to be the dominant titan while wrecking your surroundings and swatting away the army like the insignificant ants that they are. Naturally, the main goal would be to knock your opponent out and walk away the dominant beast, but why not have a little fun and smash a few buildings along the way? Godzilla feels less like a fighting game and more like a grappler. A lot of the attacks are done with very simplistic button commands, usually pressing one button while holding a direction on the D-pad. Grabbing onto a foe and pressing one of your attack buttons yields different attacks and such. Learning the moves and how they function are vital to success in Save the Earth. And each monster feels different enough in terms of movement, behavior, and whatnot that they're somewhat distinct from each other. Some fly, some burrow underground, some have limited ammunition, and so on and so forth. Even the clone characters, the 2 flavors of Godzillas, the 2 flavors of Mechagodzilla most notably, have enough minor differences that make them actually worth sampling. In regards to control, just about every button and trigger on your controller does something, and learning what does what and then how to do slightly more advanced stuff takes a little getting used to at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's actually pretty slick. I found control for the most part to be fairly responsive. I could pull off my moves without a hitch, and even the dueling laser bits tend to be fun once you get the hang of it. Just about the only real sour point is the challenge games you play, because suddenly you've got full 360 movement and the camera and target aiming, normally a non-issue for the most part, is at its most spastic or awkward. More often than not, I've struggled with camera positioning and target acquisition, and that puts a damper on these modes. I'll admit it's a nice change of pace for those who want it, but Save the Earth already had a nice change of pace with its melee mode, allowing up to 4 monsters to duke it out in some form or fashion. Here the camera zooms out to try and keep everyone in frame, and sometimes it's difficult to make out these tiny monsters on this muddy looking cityscape, but it's a fun ride regardless. Oh, and the whole grinding thing, which you'll be doing a lot of if you want to unlock everything the long way around, which will take a while since the costs for unlocking the extra monsters and such are excruciatingly high. Hey, it's a fun game and all, but I'd much rather be playing the fun melees and free-for-alls than plow through the action mode and its forced challenge rounds. There are cheat codes to get around that, but they only last until you shut the game off, so I don't know. Pick one or the other, that's all I'll say in that regard. Save the Earth is not the prettiest looking game, and I'd say the same thing if I had played this back in 2004, but it does look fine for the most part. The monsters look alright, they certainly look the part, they animate well enough, the various buildings tend to look nice as they get taller, but for the most part, they're about as cheap looking as the cardboard buildings used in the old movies, except the cardboard buildings at least exploded nicely. I like that there are daytime and nighttime variations of these stages, though the night settings make the graphics appear a bit muddier looking than usual. And the sound quality also falls within that same realm. You've got all the familiar kaiju sounds, the wanton destruction has some punch to its crunch, and there's some overly melodramatic orchestral bits that play in the background, and is usually drowned out by the symphony of destruction playing out before your ears. Overall, Godzilla Save the Earth is a very enjoyable, very well-made monster brawling game. Lots of varied monsters to play with, simple and straightforward gameplay, 4-player multiplayer, and a bunch of other knickknacks makes for a sublime dose of mass destruction. And while there are a couple of sour points to the package, it doesn't detract from an otherwise solid little game. Whether you're a fan of the Godzilla franchise, giant monster movies in general, or you just want a fun multiplayer party game on your PS2 with multi-tap device, Godzilla Save the Earth is a game worth checking out.